Shocking. CEO's mute daughter finally speaks after heartwarming encounter with a single mom. In the heart of New York City, a cloud hung over the skyline like a dark omen. Inside a sleek office building, the world of power and wealth existed in stark contrast to life outside. Jaden McAllister, CEO of McAllister Corp., a name that struck fear and awe, had one secret that eluded even the most driven investigators: his daughter. She had remained mute for years, not a single word escaping her lips since that fateful day. Her silence was the talk of the town, swirling with rumors and whispered speculation. Her father, a titan of industry, had tried everything, throwing money and resources at the flickering shadow of hope. But on that rain-soaked Thursday, chaos erupted. A single mother named Lily Jones, struggling yet resilient, pushed her luck by stepping into McAllister's world. A chance encounter on the rain-drenched sidewalk changed everything. As lightning flashed, illuminating her determined face, she caught sight of a girl gazing out of the towering glass. It was as if fate had drawn them together in the riddle of the storm. The oddity of the moment sent chills down her spine. Why was this mute girl staring at her with such intensity? People whispered. They gasped, eyes wide with wonder. How could a girl born into privilege live in such isolation? Lily's heartbeat crashed in her chest as she felt a strange connection pull at her. This girl needed her, but how? The classroom of life buzzed with energy, yet behind closed doors, the girl remained. People questioned her, offered help, but it was futile. Yet here was Lily, unarmed by titles or wealth, existing in simple honesty. That day, surrounded by the pelting rain, everything might shift. There was tension thick in the air, as if the world was holding its breath. What would happen if the girl finally spoke? What secrets would tumble out? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the rain thrummed against the pavement, a heavy silence fell between them. It was broken suddenly, the light in the girl's hazel eyes igniting with something profound, an emotion trapped, desperate to burst free. And just like that, the weight of years rested on Lily's shoulders, imbued with a flicker of hope. Could she really be the one to unlock the secrets buried deep within that silence? Would Jaden's world crumble around the raw truth soon to be revealed? What words, after years of silence, would burst forth next? The rain continued to pour, an unrelenting curtain separating Lily from the world as she stood frozen, her heart racing. Time seemed suspended, and in that seemingly eternal moment, she felt the girl's gaze pierce through her. That connection was electric, urgent, like two souls crying out in an indifferent universe. "Please, say something," Lily whispered, barely audible above the storm. The words were raw, drenched with a mother's instinct to comfort and understand. For a split second, the girl's lips quivered, and a flicker of uncertainty shadowed her eyes. A moment of hope sparked in Lily's chest, warm amidst the cold reality of their surroundings. Just then, another bolt of lightning illuminated the penthouse, casting jagged shadows across the room, and with it, a fleeting glimpse of something beyond fear. Suddenly, as if propelled by an unseen force, the girl took a hesitant step forward. The glass barrier felt less like a boundary and more like a bridge. She raised her hand as if to touch it. Was a small, shaky gesture, yet it held the weight of years spent in silence. Lily's breath caught in her throat, a lump forming as she struggled between hope and dread. Was this it? Would the words, stifled for so long, finally emerge? The noise of the city around them faded, leaving only the pounding rain and the pounding of her heart. Meanwhile, Jaden watched from a distance, his expression a mixture of disbelief and concern. He had built walls so high around his daughter, believing they would protect her. But now, could it be that those walls were the very things suffocating her? The swirling darkness of guilt wrapped tighter around him as he looked on, powerless. But what was he willing to sacrifice for the glimmer of hope his daughter might find? Would he allow her to break free from the silence that bound her, or would he keep her prisoner of his own fears? The thought churned in his stomach, a storm of unease. Just then, the girl stumbled backwards, clamping her hands over her ears as if blocking out the monosyllabic chaos of her father's world. She closed her eyes tightly, a strained expression twisting her features. Panic surged through the room like the lightning outside. "Vivian!" Jaden shouted, taking a step forward, his authoritative voice drowning in Lily's deepening panic. "Don't. It's okay." Lily turned to him, eyes filled with fierce protectiveness. "You're scaring her. Let her be." The girl's breathing quickened, the fear etched on her face, pulling at something deep within Lily. They were on the edge of an emotional precipice, and all it would take was one tiny push. "Vivian," Lily said softly, reaching out her palm toward the girl, "you can trust me. You can trust us." The girl's eyes flickered open, and in that moment, the world stood eerily still. It was as if the universe had paused, waiting for her to choose to succumb to the shadows or embrace the light. "Just say a word," Lily urged, voice trembling but resolute. In that charged silence, the words were like a whispered promise, teetering on the brink of reality. What would spill forth? Would it be the sweet release of a long-held truth or a harrowing confession that would shatter everything? As the storm raged on outside, it felt as if the heavens themselves were holding their breath, waiting to hear what secrets the silence would finally divulge. Then, a single, shattering sound broke through the tension, the echo of glass shattering against the floor, startling them from their psychic dance. Was it a sign, a warning, or the beginning of the end? The real question hung there, heavy in the air. What would be revealed when the dust settled? And how would it reshape the lives of those bound by silence and fear? Lily's heart raced as shards of glass scattered like stars across the floor, glinting ominously in the dim light. The brief intrusion shattered the charged stillness, echoing like a gunshot in the tension-filled air. The girl's face twisted in terror, her eyes wide as she took another shaky step back, retreating into the shadows of the room. "Vivian, don't!" Jaden cried, his voice cracking, desperation clawing at him. The battle raged within him. Was he the protector or the captor? The walls he had erected felt both like a fortress and a prison. He needed to act, to save her from whatever monster lurked in her mind. "I'm here for you," Lily called out, summoning every ounce of kindness she possessed. She took a step forward, trying to erase the fear that had wrapped around Vivian like a serpent. "You don't have to be scared. We're not here to hurt you." Jaden's breath hitched as he glanced from Lily to his daughter. Emotions surged through him, flooding his system with doubt. Would his attempts to control her somehow suffocate the very spirit he sought to protect? What if his unyielding love was just as harmful as the world outside? In that moment, the storm roared outside, crashing against the penthouse windows, as if mirroring the tumult within. The air felt heavy, charged with unspoken words and emotions that lay at the center of their confrontation. "Let me in," Lily whispered, her palms still extended, like a lifeline thrown into troubled waters. Vivian's breath came in sharp gasps, still trapped between the need to escape and the desperate plea radiating from Lily. The girl's hands trembled at her sides, fingers curled as if clinging tightly to some invisible hope. Lily could see her resolve wavering, a flicker of courage battling the shadows. "Is this your fault, Jaden?" she suddenly questioned, her voice quaking. "What are you keeping from her?" The accusation hung in the air, thick with anxiety. Jaden's face fell, guilt crashing down upon him. He wanted to scream, to explain, to justify every choice he made in fear of losing the only family he had left. I just wanted to protect her," he shot back, each word punctured by anguish. "I thought silence was better than hurt," but the words fell flat as Lily shook her head, her gaze fixed firmly on Vivian. "She deserves a voice, Jaden. You can't keep her in a cage just because you're afraid of the world." At that very moment, Vivian seemed to tremble under the weight of their exchange. With a fierce determination she had not shown until now, she hesitated before opening her mouth, an act that had once felt impossible. A painful silence enveloped the room, and then every heart held its breath. "Mom," the word came out barely above a whisper, but it was more than just a syllable. It was a lifeline, a confirmation of belonging, a mingling of past pain and uncharted futures. Both Lily and Jaden froze, the sunken remnants of the shattering glass echoing in their minds. The reality hung in the air like a surreal photograph. Still and vivid. Vivian had spoken, but just as relief surged, the moment was interrupted by another crash, this time from beyond the glass barrier separating the penthouse from the raging storm. A figure loomed outside, obscured by the downpour, and with it came a chill that swept through the room, a harbinger of danger. "Who is there?" Jaden shouted, instantly changing gears. The protective instinct in him roared back to life, overpowering everything else. He scrambled toward the window, heart hammering, unaware that the answer to his inquiries would unravel everything they just began to mend. As he approached, something dark shifted behind the veil of rain, an ominous shadow slipping into the very fabric of their lives. What had they just awakened, and would they be ready to confront the consequences of their choices? A sense of foreboding gripped the air, thick and unsettling. Lily's heart raced anew, a terrifying thought curling in her mind. What if they were not alone after all? What if the true storm was yet to descend upon them? Jaden's instincts screamed at him. He pressed his face against the rain-drenched glass, squinting through the dark. The blurred form outside moved, shifting like a ripple in the storm. There was something wrong, something off about the way the figure stood. Unmoving, ominous. "Vivian, come here," he commanded, his voice taut. Desperation clawed at him, demanding he protect his daughter from whatever was out there. He wanted to shield her, yet at that moment, he felt more like a prisoner himself, bound by a need he barely understood. Lily sensed the tension in the air, her heart thundering alongside Jaden's. She took a cautious step toward Vivian, who stood frozen, eyes wide and glistening with unshed tears. "Vivian, stay with me," she whispered, the fear clawing at her throat even as she fought to present strength. Vivian barely nodded, her fragile frame trembling as she clutched at the hem of her shirt. What if she faltered, a fragment of fear splintering her fragile resolve? The room seemed to shrink around them, shadows dancing in corners as the figure outside pressed closer, its outline growing clearer. With a swift motion, Jaden twisted the lock on the window, his movements quick and frantic. "I won't let anything harm you." The words fell into the silence like stones into water, rippling unease, echoing true intentions. Jaden Lily's voice was soft but urgent. "What if they're trying to help? What if that's someone we need to see?" She barely finished before the figure surged into view, illuminated by a lightning flash, revealing a face twisted in recognition. A cold breath escaped Jaden as he stumbled back, retreating into insistent shadows. "No," he said hoarsely, the color draining from his face. "It can't be." Vivian gasped. "Dad, who is it?" There was a hint of confusion mixed with dread, and Jaden could feel the weight of what he might have to reveal. "Stay back," he pushed out, his voice breaking. That's not someone who wants to help." The face grinned, a twisted smirk slicing through the rain-soaked gloom. "Hello, Jaden. Missed me?" The voice slithered into the air, chilling and familiar. Memories resurfaced, laced with unresolved pain. Damon Jaden's voice dropped to a whisper, but the name echoed like a gunshot in the room. It was the name that should have remained buried, a specter from a past that should have stayed hidden. "Let them go, Damon." Lily stepped between Jaden and the window, instinctively shielding Vivian. "Whatever you want, you can't have her." "Ah, but you misunderstand," Damon replied, his tone dripping with malevolence. "I'm not here for her." Jaden's insides twisted with nausea. "Then what do you want?" In that moment, the world outside blurred, the storm intensifying. Lightning cracked again, bringing with it an insight so intense it felt like a punch to the gut. They were entrapped not just by the storm, but by the figures of their past. "Tell her who you really are," Damon purred, his eyes gleaming with dark amusement. "What you've kept hidden from everyone, especially her." Vivian's terrified gaze swept between them, her ability to process the chaos slipping away. The fragile thread of trust connecting her to her father began to fray, unraveling rapidly under the weight of Damon's taunts. "Jaden, what is he talking about?" Vivian whispered, her voice breaking. "What did you hide?" Jaden felt a heat rising in his chest, fear, regret, and anger clashing like thunder. He had fought to protect her, but now the stakes had never felt higher. "Vivian, please listen." But before he could explain, Another crash shattered the already fragile moment, and the storm outside threatened to come crashing in as Damon's laughter echoed ominously through the chaos. As the shadows around them deepened, an unshakable realization coursed through the room. The revelations they feared were only the beginning. "What have you done, Jaden?" Lily's voice trembled beside him, and Jaden's heart sank. The storm was just the beginning, but could they withstand the truth that waited to follow? The room fell into a suffocating silence, save for the relentless pounding of rain against the window and the occasional rattle of thunder. The air thickened with trepidation, each breath a labor of uncertainty. Jaden's heart raced as he locked eyes with Damon, the embodiment of his most intimate fears. "Just tell her the truth, Jaden," Damon taunted, his voice a venomous whisper that curled around them like smoke. "Let her know the man she idolizes is not who she thinks he is." Lily's protective stance faltered, her eyes wide with conflicting emotions. "Jaden, please don't let him play with us. Don't let him win." Vivian clutched at her shirt, her small hands trembling as if the fabric could shield her. "Dad," she implored, her voice a mere thread in the storm. "What is he talking about?" "I can't," Jaden started, the words caught in his throat. If he revealed the truth now, could he ever go back? Would Vivian ever look at him the same way again? But Damon's laughter echoed, a dark melody that seeped into their home, and with it, Jaden's resolve began to crack. "You have to tell her. You owe her that much. Or I'll make sure she knows the truth in the worst way possible." Damon's words hung in the air, a looming threat. Jaden fought against the rush of memories, images of past mistakes clawing at his mind. He was supposed to safeguard Vivian from this darkness, yet here it was, knocking at their door. I had my reasons," Jaden finally whispered, the weight of his shame heavy on his chest. "I thought I could protect you by keeping my past hidden." "Protect me from what? Who are you?" Vivian's voice trembled, her innocence cracking like glass. The shadows in the corners twisted menacingly, and Jaden felt the room close in around him. "I was involved with people I shouldn't have been, Vivian." "Dangerous people? Like him?" she asked, her voice quaking. Damon stepped closer, his eyes glowing with malicious glee. "They're more like family to me than you'll ever be, Jaden. You think you can keep her from the truth? She deserves to know who she's really dealing with. You're just a coward." "No," Jaden shouted, the word erupting from him like a bolt of lightning. "I won't let you twist this. I'm not afraid of you." Lily pressed her hand against his arm. "This isn't going to end well. We need to think, Jaden." But the storm's fury outside matched the tempest inside of him. Jaden could no longer tell where the voice of reason ended and the fear began. "Vivian, all I wanted was to give you a normal life. I know you tried. But what will it take for you to tell me the truth, Dad?" She was teetering on the edge of despair, a fragile being caught in a storm of shadows and half-truths. "Vivian," he hesitated, pain clawing at his heart. "I wanted to keep you safe from those who mean harm. There are enemies out there, and Damon is one of them. But I have made mistakes. Terrible mistakes." Damon leaned closer to the window, rain plastering his hair against his skull. His eyes sparkled with an otherworldly intensity. "This isn't just about you, Jaden. You can't hide from who you were. It's all going to come crashing down unless you're willing to spill your guts." Jaden's pulse quickened, dread pooling in the pit of his stomach. He could feel the weight of the truth pressing against him, and every instinct screamed that the moment was now. But there was a price to pay. Would Vivian understand? Would she forgive him? Lightning split the sky, bright and fierce, illuminating the room for an instant, just long enough for Jaden to see Vivian's pleading gaze locked on him. "Dad, please," she whispered, eyes glistening. "You don't have to do this alone." But before he could respond, the door rattled violently, sending a shiver through them all. Hope and despair clashed as they faced the reality that was pushing in from every side. "Do you hear that?" Jaden asked, heart racing. "What else is out there?" Damon smiled wider, as if reveling in their fear. "Oh, it's just the beginning. You're not alone in this storm. Not by a long shot." As they stood toe-to-toe with the embodiment of their past, Jaden realized the coming waves would test them like never before. "Are you ready for the truth, Vivian?" he whispered, feeling the thunder rumble inside him. But the moment was shattered again as the door burst open, revealing a silhouette that sent chills racing through their spines. "Who is there?" Jaden yelled, his voice trembling with a strange mix of dread and necessity. As the shadows deepened once more, the answers lay just outside their reach, but the next chapter of their story was about to make its twisted entrance. The figure stepped inside, drenched and silhouetted against the shimmering backdrop of lightning. For a split second, all Jaden could see was shadow, but a faint gasp from Vivian broke through the tension. "Mom," she whispered, disbelief coloring her voice. The silhouette stepped into the room, and recognition flooded in. It was Charlotte, Lily's childhood friend, her hair clinging to her face, framing a look of sheer horror. "What is going on here?" Charlotte asked, breathless, her gaze darting between the three of them. The unease in the air churned like a storm cloud, oppressive and electric. Lily moved toward her, panic casting a shadow over her features. "You shouldn't be here. It's not safe." "Not safe?" Charlotte's expression hardened. "Did you think I wouldn't notice the storm? It's not just the rain that's come crashing down. I heard things, Lily, disturbing things." Damon stepped forward with a smirk, reveling in the chaos. "Ah, good old Charlotte," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. "You have perfect timing. Just in time to witness this little family reunion. How long have you been lurking around?" Charlotte shot back, refusing to let his mockery unsettle her. "Long enough to know that secrets have a funny way of resurfacing," Damon replied, his gaze honing in on Jaden. "And they come with a price." Jaden's heart raced. His palms were clammy, his breath short, but this wasn't the moment to concede. "You need to leave, Charlotte. We don't want you getting dragged into this," he urged, words trembling with urgency. But Charlotte shook her head, unyielding. "No, you can't keep this quiet anymore. Jaden, you need to tell Vivian all of it. She's not a child anymore." Jaden's throat tightened as the truth clawed its way to the surface. He could feel Vivian's eyes boring into him, searching for answers he was terrified to give. The words stumbled out like a wounded animal. "I don't want to lose you, lose me," Vivian interjected, her voice slicing through the tension. "I'm already losing you by not knowing the truth." Damon took a step back, hands raised in mock surrender. "This is all quite poetic, really," he announced, enjoying the unfolding drama. "But the clock is ticking. Your time is running out, Jaden. You need to make a choice before it's too late." "Late for what?" Lily shot back, her eyes narrowing in anger and fear. "What are you even after, Damon?" He smiled slyly. "Oh, I simply want to grant Jaden an opportunity to save his family. After all, isn't that what we all want? But he can only save them if he's willing to confront the truths he hides." "Enough games," Jaden shouted, rage coursing through him. "You want the truth? Fine, I was involved in something dark, something you don't understand, Vivian. People were hurt because of me. I thought I could shield you from it all, but Damon is right." He struggled to retain his composure. "The truth always finds its way out." "You're scaring her," Charlotte shouted, voice breaking. "This isn't how you protect your daughter. Tell her now, before she spends her life in doubt." The walls felt like they were closing in. Jaden's heart battered against his ribcage. He took a step toward Vivian, ready to clasp her hands in his, but hesitated as the storm outside amplified. Rain lashed against the windows like desperate fingers, clawing for entry. "What do you mean dark?" Vivian pleaded, eyes shimmering with confusion and hurt, desperately searching his face for clarity. "Vivian, please understand," Jaden started, but the door slammed shut again, rattling violently. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil inside. "Mom, what is happening?" she cried, the terror in her voice rising sharply. Charlotte moved closer to Lily, shaking her head. "This doesn't end well unless we confront everything right now." Jaden glanced from Lily to Charlotte to their daughter, trapped like a deer in headlights. "I'll explain everything," he managed to choke out, breathless. But as he opened his mouth, another crash of thunder erupted, shaking the very foundation of their home. Suddenly, an ominous figure appeared. Outside the window, a shadow cast against the torrential rain. There was something unsettling in the way it moved, almost like a specter come to witness their downfall. Who is that?" Vivian's voice cracked, filled with panic as the figure moved closer. Jaden felt his heart seize at the familiar outline, but before he could scream, the lights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. "Time us up," Damon said, his voice a whisper that clawed at Jaden's sanity. And just like that, they were engulfed in shadows, each heartbeat echoing louder than the last, as the storm outside raged on, leaving them to wonder who or what would emerge from the darkness. The darkness clung to them like a shroud, heavy and suffocating. Jaden strained to see, his heart hammering as panic clawed at him. He opened his mouth to speak, but the words were lost in a churning sea of fear and uncertainty. Just then, a flash of lightning illuminated the room, casting stark silhouettes against the walls that Vivian's terrified gasp cut through the tension. "Dad!" she cried, her voice trembling. "What is happening? I can't see anything." Shadows morphed and twisted around them, a tapestry of fear woven into the fabric of the night. "Stay close," Jaden shouted, the urgency in his voice as palpable as the storm outside. He reached out, grasping blindly until his fingers found Vivian's arm. She flinched at his touch, and he felt the warmth of her skin against the cold reality of everything swirling around them. "Charlotte," Lily shouted, her voice strained and urgent. "Can you see anything? We need to get out. I can barely see my hand in front of my face." Charlotte replied, panic creeping in as her own hands searched for something solid. "We can't just stand here." Damon's voice, slick and amused, sliced through the chaos. "What a delight. This is the perfect setting for a little revelation, don't you think? No one can escape their darkness when the lights are out." Jaden clenched his fists. "This isn't a game, Damon. Get out of our lives." His voice ricocheted off the walls, reverberating in the darkness. An insistent pounding echoed from the door, a steady rhythm that mimicked Jaden's heart. "Open up. It's the police." "Police?" Lily gasped, the reality of their situation crashing in like the storm outside. "What do we do?" Another flicker of lightning brightened the room, illuminating Damon's sinister smile as he leaned against the wall, enjoying the chaos around him. In that brief light, Jaden caught another glance of the figure outside the window, their silhouette lurking. Was it real, or just a trick of the light? "Vivian, you need to trust me," Jaden urged, attempting to steady his voice. "No matter what happens, I need you to stay strong. We will get through this." "I'm scared, Dad. Please." Her voice cracked, desperation seeping through. He squeezed her hand tighter, determination mixing with fear. "We'll face whatever this is together." The abrupt rattle of the door startled them all, the pounding intensifying. "Please, we need to get inside." "No, stay back," Jaden shouted, feeling every nerve in his body awaken with anxiety. What if the police were the ones who had come for him? "Listen, Jaden." Damon's words were low and lethal, a whisper against the backdrop of fear. "You're running out of time. The truth will break through the darkness. You need to make a choice: her safety or your own ambition." The door shook violently again. "Open up." Jaden's heart thudded in his chest. His instinct screamed to run, to find an escape, but that wasn't an option. He would not leave Vivian, or Lily, or Charlotte behind. "Get ready," Jaden hissed, pulling Vivian closer. He could barely hear the rain pounding outside, but inside, the tension felt explosive, a countdown with no clear end. He suddenly felt that ominous figure pressing closer, watching. "I'll hold the door," Lily shouted suddenly, gathering all her strength. Before he could respond, she lunged for the door, determination fueling her every movement. "On three. 1, 2. The tension coiled tightly. Would it break? 3. With all their weight, they pushed back against the door just as it swung open, jettisoning their brief moment of unity. And suddenly, the figure outside stepped into the room, the stark outline now fully visible in the flickering light. Who are you?" Vivian gasped, terror bleeding into her voice as they all faced the intruder, uncertain of whether it was friend or foe. Jaden's breath caught, a layer of dread deepening. What they didn't realize was that the storm outside was only the beginning of something far more terrifying. "Guess you could say, I'm here to deliver a message," the figure said, a voice dripping with secrets and shadows. The air felt thick, choked, with anticipation. Jaden's mind raced, knowing that revelations would bring only more danger. And as the wind howled and the lights flickered again, he prepared for the truth to come crashing down. What had he unleashed? The lights dimmed once more, shadows creeping toward the edges of fear, and somewhere in that chaos, hope lingered just out of reach. The figure stepped fully into the room, and the flickering light caught familiar features of face Jaden recognized instantly. "Chris?" Jaden's voice broke, disbelief lacing through the weight of his words. Surprise. I've come to join the party, Chris said, a smirk playing on his lips, unbothered by the dread wafting through the room. Vivian squeezed her father's hand tighter, her eyes wide with confusion. Dad, who is he? Keep your distance, Jaden barked, instinctively pulling her behind him. Oh, please. I'm not here to hurt anyone unless you make me. Chris drew a mocking breath. I'm here because you need help. If only you knew what darkness you're really up against. Damon, still lurking in the shadows, chuckled softly, his voice slithering through the stress-filled air. Oh, this is rich. The cast of characters just keeps getting better. So, tell us, Chris, what exactly is this help you're offering? Jaden's heart raced. Chris had been a friend once, a competitor in business now turned something else entirely. He sensed lies woven deep into Chris's words. I don't believe you, he said firmly, defiance sparking even in the face of uncertainty. With the flick of a switch, Chris's expression shifted from playful to deadly serious. You don't have the luxury of disbelief, Jaden. The storm is here for a reason. Vivian glanced nervously between the men, her voice quaking. What storm? The one that's already wrecking lives. The one I warned you about, the one coming for you, Chris said, his eyes darkening. You're running out of time. The pounding intensified again at the door, drowning out Jaden's spiraling thoughts. What do you mean? Jaden demanded, the shadows in the room seeming to coil closer as if drawn by the air of tension. Chris took a cautious step forward, feigning an air of solace. Tell me you haven't figured it out yet. All of this, the darkness, Damon, the police, they're part of your reckoning. It's all connected, Jaden. No, you're lying, Jaden shouted, anger mixing with fear. Why should I believe anything you say? Chris didn't flinch. Instead, he held out his palm, the weight of a small object nestled within. Because I have information about your past. Secrets that can either save you or destroy you. Vivian gasped as Jaden moved his hand to shield her, uncertainty gnawing at him. What secrets? They're all tied to the choices you've made, the people you've hurt. You're not just up against Damon and his games. Chris's tone twisted dangerously low. You're against yourself. Lily stepped closer, arms crossed defiantly. Enough of this. What do you mean? Jaden has hurt people. We all have a past. Damon's laughter broke out like thunder, devoid of warmth. Touché, dear Lily. But Jaden's past is what makes him so interesting. Isn't that right, Jaden? Tell us how many lives you've ruined to get where you are. Jaden's heart pounded in his chest as he felt the walls close in. Their gazes were all directed at him, expectant and cruel. Maybe this is the moment for redemption or downfall, Chris pressed. You have a choice, but it's slipping away. One wrong move, lightning flashed again, crackling through the space, bringing with it a gust that sent a chill up Jaden's spine. In the corner, he finally stumbled upon the impending choice he had to make with his family in the midst of a storm, literally and metaphorically. With the weight of the room pressing in, Jaden's mind raced with thoughts of survival and sacrifice. He had to protect them. What do you want from me? He forced out, knowing that deep down, the truth could be more destructive than the darkness closing in around them. And the truth is, Chris spoke, and the energy shifted, like the calm before the storm. The door shook again, and the room braced for the next turn of fate. Are you ready to face it? Chris asked, the air electrified with unanswered questions. Outside, the storm raged on, but Jaden realized there were greater storms brewing within. What would he risk to uncover the secrets that might save them all or destroy them? The air felt thick with tension, every heartbeat echoing louder than the last. Jaden's mind was a whirlpool of thoughts, each competing for clarity in this chaotic moment. Chris's gaze bore through him, a hunter watching its prey. How had they ended up here, with a past like a shadow lurking just outside their door? Jaden, Chris pressed, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. You think you can just walk away from who you used to be? That's where you're wrong. The storm doesn't let you run. Vivian tugged at her father's jacket, her small body trembling with fear. Dad, please, she whispered, a plea laced with desperation. It leveled the intensity, the fierce chaos swirling around them suddenly palpable and suffocating. With a surge of protective instinct, Jaden squared his shoulders. He had to regroup, to regain control. What do you know, Chris? Tell me. What do you mean my past is coming for me? Everything you hid behind those golden walls of yours. The deals, the betrayals, Chris smiled, but it was the cold grin of a predator. They're coming back. It's time to pay the piper. Enough. Jaden's voice rose, and he took a step forward, anger fueling his movements. You can threaten me all you want, but I won't let you hurt my family. The door rattled violently, threatening to burst open, adding to the urgency of this standoff. Damon stepped out of the shadows, his sinister confidence cutting through the charged atmosphere. Oh, Jaden, we're all going to enjoy the revelation that S about to come rushing in. You really have no idea what's at stake. The pounding intensified, and as if summoned by the chaos inside, thunder rolled outside. Jaden felt the walls pressing in around him, memories clawing at the edges of his mind, decisions he made that had left scars, both on others and himself. How many victims lay buried under the weight of his ambition? Jaden, Chris urged, stepping closer, his expression unrelenting. The object in his hand sparkled a tiny flash of silver, and guilt enveloped it. This can end the darkness, or it can unleash an even greater horror. Your call. The sudden shift of the room's air made everyone freeze. A whisper seemed to circulate among them. Lily's eyes widened in realization, her color draining. You're not serious, she blurted, staring at the object in fear. You wouldn't. Damon leaned closer, jagged smile plastered across his face. Is it the truth you're afraid of, Jaden? Or is it what that truth will do to the little girl behind you? Jaden's throat tightened. Whatever you think you know about my past, I'll face it. I won't let it hurt her. Are you sure you can protect her? Chris's tone shifted, dripping with mock sympathy. Secrets are like shadows, they're there, lurking, waiting to explode into the light. Just like this storm. A low rumble drew closer, echoing like the silence before a storm's wrath. Each person in the room held their breath, waiting for the next thunderous crash, the next revelation to shatter the fragile peace. Show me, Jaden whispered, his voice unsteady but resolute. He glanced at Vivian, who looked back with wide, trusting eyes. Show me what I've done. With a wicked smile, Chris took a step back and revealed the object. As it caught the light, Jaden's heart sank. The truth, raw and unforgiving, lay within Chris's grasp, waiting to be unleashed. Outside, the storm continued its violent symphony, mirroring the chaos forming in the room. Jaden felt the stakes rise like a tide crashing against a fragile shore. As the door splintered under another massive hit, he knew they were racing against time. Secrets would spill, but would it lead to salvation or obliteration? Are you ready? Chris taunted, dark promise lacing through his grin. The storm is just beginning. With dread pooling in his stomach, Jaden steeled himself for what lay ahead, knowing that the next moments could change everything. What was to come might reveal the truth he feared or unravel the very fabric of their lives. Would he be able to face it and stand against the rising tide? The storm outside roared like a trapped beast, yet the real tempest roiled within the room. Each crash of thunder echoed Jaden's heartbeat, every flicker of lightning casting shadows on friendship and betrayal. Krista held the object like a bait, a hidden needle ready to unleash chaos. Are you ready? Chris smirked, his eyes glinting with malice. Just show us the damn truth. Jaden growled, desperation clawing at his throat. All right, Chris relented, revealing a sleek, silver key. This, he said, waving it slightly, is your answer. You should have never buried your past so deep, Jaden. You thought you locked it away for good, but now it'll unlock the very chains you forged. Unlock? Chains. Vivian's voice shook as she clutched Jaden's arm tightly. What does that mean? It'll lead me back to them. The ones you turned your back on. The people linked to your betrayals. They're coming, and they're not here for a family reunion, Chris snapped. Jaden swallowed hard, dread flooding him. He was supposed to be the protector, the hero, and yet here he stood on the brink of exposing everything that could ravage the fragile peace he had given his daughter. They had fought so hard to escape the echoes of the past. You want me to confront my demons? My mistakes. I will, but not for you. Confronting them is fun, but it won't matter in the end. Chris sneered, leaning closer. You can pretend all you like, but darkness is patient. It's waiting for you to falter. As if on cue, a violent crash jolted the door, the frame shaking with the weight of both nature and fate. Jaden exchanged a quick glance with Lily. each of them reflecting the urgency, the unyielding need to shield their child. "We can't let this ruin her," Lily murmured, her eyes hardening. "We need to stand united." "Unity, how sweet," Damon hissed, circling them like a predator sizing up prey. "But you're in deeper than you know." Jaden felt his heart pound. "Stay away from my family," he shouted, instinctively pushing Vivian and Lily to the corner. "Stop acting as if you can shield them." Damon snapped back. "It's time for Vivian to understand just what kind of monster her father truly is. She has to know who you really were. What I was doesn't define who I am now," Jaden countered, his voice breaking with the weight of the truth and his need to protect. "Then explain. Why are you so afraid to show her?" Chris urged, his tone insidious. "Why not give her a chance to see you for who you are?" "Because," Jaden's voice stumbled, the memories choking him. "Because I feared who I'd lose in the process. I've hurt people, yes, but if I tell her everything, I might lose her forever." Silence gripped the room at his admission, palpable and thick. "Dad," Vivian's voice was soft, trembling. "You want to lose me." The gentleness in her tone cut through the chaos, igniting the spark of love buried under fear. "What he has done isn't who he is now." Lily stepped forward, her fierce determination rising. "We can work through this together." But Damon's laughter sliced through. "Too late for that, kitten. She'll believe the truth, Jaden, and you'll be scrambling to protect her from it. Let her decide. Not you." Jaden's pulse pounded as he locked eyes with Vivian. There was a flicker of trust, a connection that burned bright in the midst of a storm. Vivian stepped forward, the flicker of courage igniting within her. "Whatever you did, Dad, I want to know. I want to understand. I trust you." "Trusting me may bring more pain than you can bear," Jaden warned, the burden of truth weighing heavily on him. "I don't want to shatter that trust." But with each moment suspended like a fragile breath, he felt the walls closing in, the choices multiplying under a stark spotlight. "Then you'll break her heart for trying to protect her, leaving her in the dark," Chris interjected. "You're past isn't going anywhere, Jaden. You can either confront it or let it consume you and her. Face it," Lily pleaded. "Face it before the storm takes it away." Their words bled into the tense air, wrapping around Jaden's heart with a sudden warmth. He couldn't shield her forever. He knew that now. "I was involved with dangerous people," he finally admitted. "I turned my back on them for a reason, because they brought pain into other lives. And I never intended to let you live that." "Why not?" Vivian's voice rang through the thick air, firm yet gently pleading. "You'll always be my dad. I want to help you carry the burden, not hide from it." For the first time, a sliver of hope caught in his chest. "Do it," Damon spat. "Lay down your truths before they drown you." Thunder rumbled as Jaden inhaled deeply, steeling himself as a flood of sorrow crashed over him. They threatened everything, he confessed, the honesty giving voice to the shadows. "I had to choose. I was motivated by control and fear. I thought I was protecting you, but I only built higher walls between us. Now those walls might cost you everything." Just then, the door splintered open, flinging itself wide to reveal the raging storm beyond, and standing tall amid the deluge was a group of figures. Police filled the doorway with surprise and urgency. "Jaden McAllister, you're under arrest," one officer shouted, and the world shifted yet again. "No," Jaden cried, panic surging, the storm of his undoing finally surfacing. "Wait, it's not what you think." But it was too late. The truth had revealed its ugly head, and he was trapped among the memories he had tried to bury. Vivian stepped closer to him, her eyes fierce, unwavering. "Whatever is about to happen, we'll face it together," she declared, holding tight to his hand that he felt her warmth mix with his dread, and against the storm's fury outside, he drew strength from that connection. Because even in the darkest of moments, hope shimmered in their clasped hands, and the undeniable love between them became a beacon amid chaos. As Jaden faced the officers, he knew destiny had delivered its choice. "Let us go," the lead officer ordered, but Jaden couldn't help but glance back at his family. And here, in the heart of the storm, Jaden understood at last. It wasn't about who he once was, but about who he would fight to be for them. "Whatever happens, I love you both," he vowed, the echoes of his past stark against the present. And with that, the repercussions of a life filled with choices now lay before them, stripped of fear and tainted darkness. Together, they would face whatever storms awaited. If you found this heart-stopping conclusion riveting, you need to subscribe now. You don't want to miss future exclusive stories that will keep your heart racing. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this dramatic ending. Your voice matters in the community, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let us spread the thrill together.